Even if you don't hold spot Ethereum like me, even if you think Ethereum is the king of shitcoins, even if you think Vitalik looks a little bit like that Reddit robot, just like a little bit, I don't think that as a trader you should be ignoring Ethereum at the moment. I mean, look at it. In this video, we're going to discuss how to get in on this move. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and we're going to talk about Solana. So let's get into it. Good morning. It is Monday, the 11th of August today. We're going to be doing a top-down analysis and trade plan for Ethereum, Bitcoin and Solana. I do this every single Monday. And then at 6:30 p.m. UK time, we do a live stream where we're going to talk about the day's price action and then just kind of reassess how things are looking for the week ahead based on, what we've talked about in this video. We also cover a load of other crypto coins as well. It's kind of fun, so make sure you join for that. This video is also sponsored by Watt Exchange. It's where I do my crypto trading these days. They're a non-KYC perp dex. They've got a huge airdrop coming at the beginning of 2026, which could be a nice earner for you. But essentially, I'll get paid on the volume that you create for the exchange on your referral. So if you're not getting paid at the moment for your trading, wherever you're trading at the moment, bring your account over to Watt, use my ref link in the description below, and I'll give you 50% of that commission straight into your trading account forever. It's not a gimmick. It's not a one-time thing. Forever. I'll just give you that 50% of that commission. And you can do with that whatever you want. You can withdraw it, you can trade it, you can stack it. Links in the description below. We've been talking about Ethereum hitting $4,000 again since sort of mid to late June. You can go back on the channel and check it. When Ethereum was down at mid 2000s, and it's finally hit that. Anyway, let's get onto the charts. I know I spent the intro talking about Ethereum, but we're going to start with Bitcoin on the weekly. I have a template to follow, damn it. So on the weekly, last week, we spoke about how after a retrace, we had this engulfing candle. And even though it dropped last week, we've now had a big push to the upside, and overnight it has taken out the previous highs. So even though this candle didn't engulf the one before it, it is now broken above it. So this is a very bullish sign. We have our bias for the week as being in an uptrend, looking for longs. So that should be clear to anyone that's been looking at this chart for any time over the past couple of years anyway. So on the daily, we have a couple of really nice levels. We've got this high that has been taken out here, and then this low, which is where the buying took place to come and take the highs. Not sure if it's going to retrace back down to it, but we'll talk about that in a moment. If it does, this is a super clean level to go long from, just to add some bids to. So down on H4, we can see a few things about this level. First of all, it has broken the high here. And again, all I do is look for the obvious levels and then go back to the left to see what's happened and see if it's anything significant. So this level was the supply zone, which you would expect price to drop price from. And it is sitting on the break of this low here. It's not really a support level. It's just a big low. And that low obviously is a lower low in the context of this overall range. So your bias, if you're short, would be that if it comes down like this, let's do the yellow, it should respect the supply zone and drop, but it doesn't. Instead, it pushes to the upside, ranges, and then breaks out. So a really clear bullish sign. And I hope if you're watching these videos and absorbing this content, you took this. I took a trade before the breakout. I'd seen it looking like it was going to push up. And then I added on the break of this high, so on this candle close and then down here. And I'm now looking to add another position on a retrace, which we'll talk about on the lower time frames, on the hourly. But on this time frame, I'm not sure how deep it will go, considering the fact that it's absolutely burst up overnight. However, this is a nice decision point. The decision was made here on this time frame to put the buying into place to come and push up above this high. And then obviously we have the previous all-time high here. So on the hourly, it is a really clean level. It's a nice range that's formed. similar to down here where price comes up, puts in the high, puts in the low, and then signal of intent with a higher low, higher high, higher low, and then a breakout to the upside. So if you're following the pattern that I always talk about on these videos and on my channel, this was a really clear sign and obvious sign to go long with a stop below that. And that's essentially what I'm going to be looking for on this move. But we do have another decision point here, which is formed again on the break of this range. So if it comes down here, this is a really nice level, about 118K to go long from, but I'm not sure it will. This is a really strong burst. So if you're not in a move and if it doesn't retrace, what I'm basically looking for next is similar to down here where we have, if I can get it on the screen, let's mark that again so we can see. So we have this high, which is acting similar to this high, and then price comes up, ranges, and then breaks out. What I'm looking for at this high is the same thing, price to come up, range, and then on another breakout, hopefully it won't be a fake out where it just then goes and puts in a top. But it should be somewhat obvious depending on the range that gets formed. But if it ranges around this cluster here, and then I can look for a continuation into price discovery, taking it to probably about 130K. I don't want to take it too high and get too greedy with it. Otherwise, looking for a retrace, because sometimes this does happen, like in, let's see, sort of this fashion here where price comes down, goes sideways, looks like it's going to continue before coming to take out a low and then doing a move. It may well do the same up here where it could put in a range, look like continuing, but then come down to reload at a more logical level and then go away. Overall, it's done that on the daily time frame, this kind of wick off distribution pattern, and then find some support and then push up. Maybe the same, but yeah, they're my two plans on the daily on the hourly time frame, to look for some sort of range at this point and then see what happens with the breakout on the upside or a breakdown to the downside, where I would then look for a reversal, which is my ideal and preferred entry. I don't really like chasing big moves like this, particularly at all-time highs on crypto coins. So yeah, that's Bitcoin, and that's what I'm looking for today and for the week ahead. Okay, and the biggest mover is obviously Ethereum. And what we have is this previous high that gets taken out. And here we have on the weekly a very big decision point. This should be a really strong level. Unlike previous tests of the highs, this is just like a really clean trend. And a lot of the narrative around Ethereum is, oh, is it flipping Bitcoin? Is it leading Bitcoin? And the answer is no. It has a market cap of, I put a tweet up about this over the weekend, about 500 billion, whereas the market cap for Bitcoin is like 2.5 trillion. So it takes a lot more money to move Bitcoin compared to Ethereum. But what it is showing is that overall, there's a lot of interest in the crypto market, which is great because this is just a really clean trend. The price action is really nice. It's somewhat predictable because there's so much volume in the market. And when there's a lot of volume in the market, you get a lot of clean moves. So on the daily time frame, we have this range, a bit of a fake out, you see. So it goes up, puts in a low, higher high, and then it puts in a low, but then it pushes up like so, similar to that wick off distribution failure pattern. I'm not a wick off trader, but I see it all the time. So on this time frame, there's not really much to talk about. I don't need to talk about down here. I've covered that in previous videos, and I don't expect it to drop back down here, particularly after this strength. But this is a really nice level at 3,400, where you would say that if it does break it, we get a break in market structure and likely a top, and then it would come down. But I just can't see that at the moment. Jumping down onto H4, so we have more candles to play with. And you can see that this level here on the daily, this low, is actually a reaction to all of this. And this is the level I talked about in my previous video, where I said that if it comes down to 3,400, I'd look for reversal signs, but it didn't. It just did like a V recovery and then just up and away. So if we mark that previous high like this, we have a nice cluster of continuation sitting on it. That's a more realistic retrace, and you can see there's going to be something down here on H1, but my idea now to get into Ethereum on H4 is for it to come down to this level at about 3,900. What I want to see is a retrace down here and then some reversal signs, and then I'll look to continue into the all-time high and into price discovery. But at the moment, it's done the big move. If Bitcoin pushes up, it may well drop down because all the interest shifts. Not too sure, but forgetting about correlations and all that, purely on the price action in front of us, this is obviously going to now do one of two things. It's either just going to rip up without us, or it will come down. And this is a nice level down here. This is where the decision was made to push above here, this previous high, but also the bigger high. It's the level which we'll see on H1 is holding this cluster up as well. So any retrace sort of down here, and then I'm going to look for reversal signs and carry this forward to the upside. So really clean level on the hourly. Let's have a little look. Yeah. So as I said, this is the end of the chain. This is the level which is holding up this level. As you can see here, in isolation on H4, this looks like a clean level, but you can see it's all a reaction to this. So down here, about 3,800 to 3,900 is a really clean retrace level. Here we have a range that has formed, and it may well be that this range is what does hold price up. If it comes down and then shows some strength here, it may well be the continuation here. But I'm not a big fan of it, and I'd rather err on the side of caution. I'm in a couple of longs on Bitcoin. So I would, and in the same way for Bitcoin, I would rather see a retrace down into support, and preferably the end of this chain. You can see it would either do it at the top of this chain and find a retrace, a reversal after a retrace to that. So here somewhere, or it will come down all the way here and retrace. So those are my two levels. It'll be either at the beginning of the chain or at the end of this chain on H1. But I think it's more likely that it won't bounce here and push up. But if it does, it does. Ideally, I would have it a little bit deeper and put in a reversal so I can go long from that. So that's my plan on Ethereum. Now, to be honest, with Solana, I've got way more interest in Bitcoin and Ethereum. But I'm going to chart it anyway, because I do it every week. On this time frame, not a huge amount to talk about, to be honest. So let's drop down to the daily. I know there are people that are trading Solana a little bit more regularly than I am. So I will go ahead, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it. So we have this previous high, gets taken out, and then it retraces to the deepest level, which is down here. And this is basically the concept I'm talking about on Ethereum and Bitcoin, where it retraces the deepest level before the break of the high, and it comes down, bounces perfectly off of it, and then it's doing it's bouncing, but it's quite weak. There's not a lot of interest in it compared to what we've just seen on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So in this swing, I would say actually the next target would be the high at about 274, 280. On H4, where there's more candles, like looking back at what we've just seen on Bitcoin and Ethereum, where there's a lot more of a defined trend. This is a trend, but it's staggered. It's not a lot of volume in it. So at the moment, I wouldn't really be interested in touching Solana, particularly when there's way more opportunity in Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is the end of the chain down here on this time frame. This is the level holding up that daily level, and you can see it came down right into it. Puts in before the last high, before testing it, drops down, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then pushes away. And even on this time frame, I would say the deepest level from this trend would be back down here at about 167, and it looks like it may do a retrace, and that would be my favorite level, particularly if you look at the behaviors of Solana. It does tend to gravitate towards that deepest retrace level, and it did it here as well in the same way. So if I just mark all of this out, and we spoke about this on other videos plenty of times, where a high gets taken, and then this high as well, the high gets taken and then it follows all the way to the bottom of the chain. So this is the obvious support here, but it was all a reaction to this, which is a reaction to this. And then Solana finds it. In the same way, this was the deepest retrace level before the high. Solana comes down and takes it at the end of the chain. So on this time frame, we can see this level here is the end of this chain. So I would expect if it comes down here to this point, it would be a really nice long. It would be a good idea to look for a reversal here. But at the moment, it's a bit staggered. It's not looking that appealing, particularly in comparison to the other two coins I've mentioned. So similar view on H1. We do have a nice-ish sort of edge here. But I'm still expecting to go up, but it looks like it's more likely to retrace either down to this 174 level and find a reversal, or this level down here at 168 and look for a reversal. But that's my idea on Solana. Like I said, I'm not much interested in it this week. I'm more interested in Bitcoin and Ethereum. But for those that are trading, these are the kind of levels I'd be looking for on H1 and H4. Do you agree or disagree with anything that I've said in this video? Let me know in the comments below, or fade me. Come over to Watt, bring your trading account to Watt using my ref link in the description below and go against my analysis. Or if you like it, obviously you can trade with me. And as I said, I'll give you 50% of the commissions that I make straight into your trading account forever, for life. I will not change that, okay? Also, don't forget, we have a live stream at 6:30 p.m. UK time tonight, where we're going to cover everything from today, and also just go into things a little bit more detail once the price action of the day has developed for the rest of the week. Maybe something changes, maybe we stay the same. Not really sure at the moment, but we'll see later on. If you can't make that, leave a question in the comments below and I'll make sure to answer that on the live stream so you can get to that, and then you can catch the replay on the channel at a later date. Otherwise, I'll see you next Monday. We do this every single Monday, this video series and the live stream, and the replay is available there for the live stream. If not, something else from my channel is down here. Click one of them. Bye-bye.